Well, hello. Didn't see you there. It's your pal Tyler here at Points Marketing. What am I doing? Just perusing this beautiful Delta catalog. I'm just really admiring that R10,000 universal Ruff-in valve. What's that? You've never heard of the universal Ruff-in valve before from Delta? Do you want to see it? Okay. Well, maybe we'll look. How about right now? As you can see here, we have a nice little display, and we have a single handle trim here. So just nothing too crazy, no. Just a nice single handle and chrome. Good for spec homes, entry-level homes. But know what you're thinking? Like, Tyler, why do you call it the universal Ruff-in valve? Let's go over that right now. All right, friends, let's chat a bit about the R10,000 Ruff-in valve. So I said earlier, it's the universal Ruff-in valve. I know what you're thinking. What makes universal, Tyler? Well, let me show you right now. If you look at this beautiful Delta catalog, you go through any family in here, whether it's entry-level or high-end, pivotal or intrinsic or whatnot, that Ruff-in valve works for all of them. So it's whether you have something nice finish, like a beautiful champagne bronze, ooh, or you have a nice matte black. This is intrinsic, by the way. Very good seller. Yeah, the Ruff-in works with all of those. And then another thing too, not just the finish, but the style. So just pull out this beautiful little catalog here. And here's a good picture. So you can see here, the different style trims. That's got two handles on there. And you're like, Tyler, I don't know what those two handles are for. Well, I'm gonna tell you for those that don't know. The first little handle in the front, that's the temperature control. So you get it to where you want the temperature, then the one behind it is the volume. So we have different style of trims as well with Delta. So we got the single handle, we got the temperature control, then we also have the thermostatic, which is more commercial based, but the same thing with the two handles, temperature and volume. But anyway, all that's handled off the R10,000 universal Ruff-in valve. And a few other things I want to cover here. So one nice thing that I personally like for installing these is the mounting brackets. So if your backing is nice and square, you can mount this in nice and beautiful. You don't got to worry about getting your angle right on your valve and on the backing. Another nice thing is the plaster guard. As you can see, it's nice and square. So if it's a tile shower, tilers are going to love you, just like this Tyler. I love you too. And then the last thing is this cap. Because the cartridges don't come with the trims, and I'll cover that in a little bit here. But this cap comes with the standard, with the Ruff-in valves. So it's rated up for 100 PSI, so when you do your pressure test for 2 hours, I believe still. Yeah, it's rated for that, and you can solder with it in here. So whether you get solder connections, you get cold expansion connections, Crimpex connections, threaded, whatever, yeah, it's rated for that. And then one last thing I'm gonna show quick while I got the valve out here is for you plumbers that do a lot of renos and service, if you are doing a future basement Ruff-in, because I said earlier, the valves don't come with the cartridges. A lot of veterans will have a spare cartridge in their van, so they put it in there, then you're not gonna have any crossflow. But if you don't have that, as you can see here, the hot and cold are just opened, we have a nice little tool for you. So if you just contact your local Delta rep, I'm sure they might be able to finagle one somewhere. And yeah, it's just a little plug. So if you do a future Ruff-in in the basement, and you make sure you don't want any crossflow in there, no one wants that, no one's got time for that. Just pick either hole, hot or cold, put her in there, like so. Put the cap back on, and your ring, and you will have no crossflow. So that's for future Ruff-ins in the basement. And yeah, that's a little tool. You can take that out and keep reusing it for all your jobs. So anyway, I covered a few of the features on the Ruff-in valve. Now I'll cover a few more things. All right, guys, as I mentioned earlier, the cartridges don't come with the Ruff-in themselves. They come with the trim because there's so many options out there, different styles. So anyway, so let's cover the most common. This is the single handle cartridge, the RP46074. So you can see here, it's got the hot and cold, as I mentioned there. So let's actually put one in and show you guys. Make it a little service friendly. So the ring just spins off, the test cap off, and then the hot and cold. So you can see we got a little notch there on the valve itself, right there, sorry. There's the point, and then we got little points on the cartridge. So that just goes in there, and they go in flush to the point. Beautiful. And you have yourself a nice single handle cartridge. Now, let's cover the two handle cartridge. All right, guys, let's talk about the two handle trims now with the temp and volume control. That cartridge is right here, the RP46463. This comes in two pieces, so let's cover how to put that in right now. So we all know about the hot and cold right there, the left and right. Then we got the hot and cold here, the left and right. So this little black plastic piece I'm holding, that's just for install. That's just how you guide it in. That just comes right out. So line it up with hot and cold. It helps you guide it. Then the piece just comes off. And then this one slides in here. And you can see too here, we have the points, so you know it slides in where the valve needs to go. So you push it till it goes nice and flush. The ring, she goes in. And you have a nice two handle cartridge put in with the two pieces. So hopefully that clears any confusion up for anybody. And then lastly, it's just like the single handle, we have the thermostatic cartridge. It's a nice big brass cartridge here. It's just so no one gets scalded. It's just one piece, 2 holes, so that's easy to get in and out of there. So that's covering the cartridges. Now the last thing I'm going to cover is servicing these cartridges. I got a little something to show you guys, so let's have a look right now. Alright guys, let's talk about servicing these cartridges and we'll have it wrapped up for you. So we'll start off with the most common single handle cartridge, the RP46074. Now instead of just replacing with a whole brand new cartridge, we actually recommend just replacing the seats and springs inside. I know what you're probably thinking, Tyler, what you talk about? Well, let's go over that right now. So if you just take this and look at the bottom half, the white and the gray, just give it a quarter turn and it pops off. And in there, you have a nice cute little seat and spring, if you could see in the video there. So there's 2 of them. So you get a couple brand new ones. And they come in a nice little package with a pair, so you get the whole cartridge. Very beautiful. And yeah, just put the spring back in, little rubber seat. Then it only goes on one way. Little quarter turn, and she's good to go. Because new. And the same thing goes for the older style, the RP19804. So these ones, they're no longer under warranty. They made the change around 2006. So in 2006, that's when they came out with the universal Ruff-in. But these were the ones that most common before that. So they're not under warranty, but it's really easy. These are really cheap just to get some seats and springs. Exact same thing. And lastly, we will touch on the 2-handle style. So like I said here, the RP46463, they come in the 2 parts. You don't need to get an entire whole new cartridge. You just get this part by itself here. And that's a lot easier to keep around the van for servicing. So anyway guys, that's been a nice little snapshot of the Delta R10 universal Ruff-in valve. And I just really want to say thanks all for watching guys. I really appreciate it. You keep it classy out there, and I'm sure I'll see you again.